Hello everyone, thanks for checking out our collab with our friends over at Neckbeardia. If you're coming over from Neckbeardia, welcome! Please feel free to say hello in the comments. And if you're looking for video 2 in this series, you can find it over on Neckbeardia's channel. Link is in the description. The 50,000 sub livestream celebration extravaganza party is almost here. I can feel it tickling the nipples of my soul. Stay tuned for the date. That's all for now. Enjoy the video. Share your tabletop nope moments. Neckbeardia collab. Dawn of Worlds game. Alright, I want to make a race of Amazons. Okay. Since immortality and immunity to stuff aren't covered by the rules, I want all of them. And also, nice tits. That's kind of... Also, here's an 18.3 gigabyte folder of reference material for how they look. Player in my D&D game wants to make a custom furry race. Nope.jpg. See her update her Facebook saying she finally bought a fursuit. Aw, hell nah.avi. Call of Cthulhu. Investigating a house in the woods where some children may have disappeared. We broke into the basement through one of those small windows and activated the generator. From the look of it, there was enough fuel to give the building power until dawn. We started investigating the house itself and were alarmed to find that it seemed larger than it seemed possible when looking from the outside. The walls were adorned with paintings of people in chairs, a variety of different people with no obvious link. A policeman, a woman in an apron, a farmer, some children, a man in a suit, etc. The only thing they had in common was they all shared a similar pose in the chair, and they all looked very sad. In addition, all the rooms were lit with dozens of candles placed on mantels, furniture, chairs, and tables. They all seemed as though they hadn't been burning for very long, but no light had been evident from outside the house. At any rate, we were glad we had got the lights working anyway. Then the light bulbs started to flicker. We stood still in terror for a moment, and then the entire power went. Luckily, the candles were still burning. So we started looking through the rooms. After a while, we realized that we could no longer see through the windows. The outside was just blackness. One of our less stable party members took a candle and walked up to the window and tried to peer through. He went permanently insane, with no confirmation about what he saw, except in a note passed to him by the GM. The player just nodded at the DM before sitting back in his chair to watch the rest of us. The GM informed us that the now insane character had dropped the candle and stepped back from the window with his hands over his eyes, sobbing quietly. We sat him down in a chair and started to debate on what to do next. That's when the candles started to go out. Just one at first. On the mantle. It took a spot-hidden check just to notice it extinguish. Then another one on the table. And another. And another. The candles started going out with increasing frequency, so we ran into the next room where the candles were still lit. In our haste, we left our fallen comrade in the living room. After a short shouting session, I ran back to grab him, but the door between us and the now almost pitch-black room slammed shut. Last thing I saw was his tear-stained face as he lowered his hands to look up at me with remorseful eyes. We were now in a dining room, with yet more paintings and yet more candles surrounding us. After testing the lock, we resolved to look for something to break it open with. We would grab our friend and quickly head the way we came, hopefully finding the exit again. None of us addressed the possibility that our friend was no longer alive, though I could tell we were all thinking it, or that we should smash a window to escape. We proceeded through more doors, passing through some rooms on the way which seemed impossibly abstract for our current location. A kitchen of what was apparently a stone castle, a hallway where every surface was marble, and at one point a train station platform with a tiled floor. Where the track should have been, there was just blackness, which some of the floor tiles seemed to float in. Most of the rooms were typical of an ordinary, if dated, New England farmhouse. Over time, more candles became extinguished. As our DM did not believe it necessary to provide a map of our surroundings this mission, and simply to describe our surroundings, he gradually darkened the room with a dimmer switch. By the time we had found a large crowbar in a bathroom cabinet filled with medicines our doctor had never encountered, we were making our way back through utter darkness, feeling our way along the walls. Our party at this point was composed of 3 characters: myself, an amateur author, the brains of the group, the doctor, the Brawn, an American football player, his son was one of the abducted, our young college student, studying the occult, naturally, was the one presumably sitting alone in a cold, dark room with only his fevered thoughts to accompany him. Being a group of avid role players and a bracing campaign of brotherhood and trust having been enjoyed up to this point, our characters had a bond thicker than blood. We were going to save the poor kid who had followed us into this hell, and we were ready to die doing so, if necessary. We had been talking between ourselves as we crossed rooms in blackness. feeling for familiar doors and searching rooms for clues. We were mostly exchanging theories of which of our previously encountered enemies could be behind this place, as well as sharing ideas on what we should do once we escape. Then I realized that one of our number, the doctor, had been oddly quiet for a long time. In character, I whispered for him. His player smiled at me and gently shook his head, a note from the GM visible in his grasp. Panic descended over me and the sportsman. We stumbled about the room, checking cupboards and squinting in the blackness. The sportsman made the poor decision of shouting out for our missing friend. We became aware of a rumbling outside. His call was answered by the sound of a smashing window several rooms back. We were running at this point, sprinting desperately in the direction we thought we would find the exit in, barely stopping to check we were right. All we could think about was getting away from where we were. More windows were smashing in the rooms we had passed. We encountered an entirely new phenomena. Flashes of light from the pitch-black windows illuminated our path for brief instants, accompanied by the cacophony of thunder. I tumbled over a table of a shape I could not describe, and the sportsman stopped in his tracks to help me to my feet. We kept running. Then we smashed into a surface of wood, a locked door. The same locked door we would find our disturbed friend behind, and the straight path to the exit. I made my attempt to wrench the lock off the door with the crowbar. I fumbled the first roll and dropped it at my feet. The windows about us shattered and a freezing wind swept about us, carrying with it the deafening roar of wind and that terrifying rumbling call. My hands shaking, I made a second attempt to remove the lock. My sanity was dwindling rapidly. I half fancied I could see shapes, figures pacing beyond the windows in the abyssal nothing beyond. The lock finally shattered at my feet. I looked over my shoulder. Just as a flash of lightning illuminated the entirely empty room around me, I was completely alone. I threw open the door and dived through it, slamming it shut behind me. Throwing a bookcase at its foot lest it should open again, I collapsed to the floor. Then it goes quiet. The student is not here, which was what I had come to expect. There is no light, no rumble, only the sound of my breathing. Then a final explosive roar of thunder causes the room to shake around me. A blinding light emits from the windows, casting terrible shadows of dead alien faces stood outside as they stare in at me with their cold gazes. The door behind me begins to splinter as it is broken by a terrific force from the other side. Then I notice the final detail, which causes me to flee screaming from that house. I run through the streets of Arkham in mad delirium, laughing and crying and shouting of the windows which show the spaces between. I return with a sack of gas cans, which I use to set the house ablaze. It burns to the ground, and my character runs off into the night. The campaign is over. The final thing I had seen, which shattered my steel will, had been 3 previously unoccupied paintings on a wall, which, once illuminated, I saw to portray my companions. Each one sat in a chair, in the same pose, with a hauntingly sad expression on their faces. Nope! Playing Grim. Characters get lost in Wonderland, find Mad Hatter's house. My character sneaks off during the tea party and breaks into locked room, full of rusty weapons and rotting corpses, including March Hare and Dormouse. Went back, got the group to politely excuse ourselves, and left without incident. GM later confessed that he honestly thought we would stay and fight. Level 15. DM brings out a star steel golem, something beyond adamantine. It ends up with the weapon meant to destroy it, also star steel, also epic level enhancements. Still expects us to fight it. Nope.jpg. Sandshaper sorcerer, bury everything in sand, turn the floor to sand, have it sink due to its own massiveness, turn the ceiling to sand, bury it more, turn the sand to stone, blow every spell slot on sealing the thing far beneath the floor. Nope, 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 no. New World of Darkness combined campaign. 2 ex-marines turned werewolf, 1 muscled merc of a Nosferatu, me as a Promethean vagrant who does the talking. In a bar fight with a hunter, 1 wolf runs away to get help. I hide under the table with a makeshift knife, my only weapon. Peek out to see hunter summon fire and torch the other wolf to death and the Nosferatu into torpor in a single shot. Lucky rolls for the DM. Nope. Shockwave flash. Hunter starts lighting the bar on fire to find me. I cause Hunter's buddies to go insane and start attacking him. He burns them too. Keeps looking for me. Nope.tiff. Stay under burning table until he leaves. Dry hump an electrical socket to regain all the ag I took from hiding under burning furniture till he left. First werewolf 2 bars down getting drunk. Warhammer Fantasy Battle. DM wants grim and gritty, but the players asked me to build up a meat shield as they're all farmers. First time with the gain, and all I've been told is armor is best and not getting stuck in combat means you live. Write up an epic backstory of a Norskin that has systematically lost everything and moved south each time. Tribe is killed, so he moves to the Empire. People who helped him die, so he moves further into the cities, stops and becomes a butcher and has family. They die, so he goes berserk and decides to make the world a safer place and kill all evil, or die trying. Massive toughness and tons of scars. Dark angst story, but with a touch of redemption and trust as he grows fond of the party like his new family story arcs. Told I have to be an empire farmer. Talk him into going with my idea, but tone back the awesome angry widower aspects and end up a depressed butcher whose family died. 6 months of fighting bads and being constantly beaten up but spared by vampires, tomb kings, chaos wizards, and cultists. Bro Dwarf Slayer gets killed from what we suspect was missing 2 sessions in a row. Swing it so we honor him by taking out that damn troll and getting his axe and that thing's skull to his family. Get some purpose and beeline for Dwarflands. Whole party backing me, we all get gifts of armor and friendship from dwarves, and tons of allies promising to help us in our fight against the big bads. Next session, we're all poisoned by a friend NPC that's helped us consistently in the past, lose all of our wealth and possessions, and wake up on the other side of the Empire in a dungeon. End of story. The DM was lying to his girlfriend about everybody hating her and lying to everybody about her hating us, so she dumped his ass and ended up dating me. He won't speak to either of us or half the mutual friends as a result. My face when. Go to inn in city. Innkeeper invites party down to a cellar, wants us to sabotage a rival. Party declines. We want to investigate a suspicious captain of the guard we saw earlier. Innkeeper refuses to let us leave. We try to leave anyway. Adult blue dragon underneath the inn's basement. Nope.jpg. Playing New World of Darkness. Human campaign, not werewolves, vampires, mages, or anything supernatural. We were playing as a group of slacker friends who had found a dead-end job at a fast food restaurant. First weekend on that job, lots of working class families, lots of noisy, annoying kids. The manager has told us don't use the special sauce on the burgers today before leave at mid-evening. One of us decides to go to the cold room to see if there is a bottle which can still be profitable and finds none of the sauce bottles are in bad conditions or out of date for consumption. We find that strange and decide to obey the manager until a 6-year-old girl who's celebrating her birthday asks for the sauce on her burger. Shocked by the grotesque scene, I try to use the restaurant's kitchen phone to call the cops. I see a group of werewolves who had broken through the back door. One of them speaks with the manager's voice. Nope. Playing New World of Darkness humans. Investigating exploded apartment of FBI guy who is a servant to a vampire. Find secret room that hasn't burned down. Let's go investigate. A single chair with a single small table with a single cabinet that has a rubber band, 5 syringes with a red fluid, and a small book. Read book. FBI guy apparently used the stuff to jack himself up with incredible resilience, enhanced senses, and whatnot. Rolling exceptional on spotting. Hear something sneaking around the place. At this point, I know that either fucked up vampires or Mexican death metal werewolves are on my ass. Nope.jpg. Decide that I'm probably going to die anyways and jack myself one of the syringes. Weirdest 20 seconds trip ever. Eat 3 bashing, gain super senses for 3 seconds, then be exhausted. Oh shit. Sneak out. Guy downstairs notices me. Grows fangs and fuck-ass huge talons. Nope.jpg. Be lucky with initiative, shoot him exceptional in the face with my Colt SAA, stumbles back, and is only slightly irritated. Nope. Manage barely to escape to the elevator. Come to think of it, the whole fucking campaign is a single big nope. Currently, we are up against a whole swarm of tornadoes, mutant super soldiers, mutant vampires, and a meteorite that wants to drop on our heads. GM running Freight Train Custom Pathfinder D&D campaign. We are level 6. He's a good friend, and not the regular GM. We'll humor him and play for the lulz. Camping on night 2 of ridiculously implausible gigantic flying island arena fight. My watch. Perception check. Nat 20. House rules. Re-roll and add. Nat 20. Repeat. End perception check. 57. You think you might see something, maybe, in the corner of your eye. I go looking. Find nothing. Rage. Gain scent special ability. Search for trail. Smell nothing. Sniff around for several more turns. GM not giving me a damn thing. Fine. I drop my rage and go back to camp.
LOL, assassin from tree does 78 damage dropping on you.
Later. Yeah, she was actually a messenger with no tongue, wearing epic forged armor. It's special, that doesn't work for you, and prevents you from resurrecting her. She's mute, and both her companions are blind. Messengers. Nope.gif. Hello, my creamy little tres leches cakes of cosmic, ecstatic glee and gratitude. Thank you for sending your glistening, psychic, omniscient tendrils in the direction of this video. We're super stoked to do a double drop with our homies over at Neckbeardia. If you haven't shot them a sub yet, please go check out part 2 of this video series on their channel and subscribe with all speed. It means a lot to be able to support our friends, so thank you for checking those sexy little sultry sexpot dynamos out. If you're just tuning in for the first time, welcome. Toss back a tankard of sheer childlike wonder. Be regaled by epic tales of epic fails. Take a barbaric bite of a big old juicy old mutton joint of lulls, and brawl with your fellow revelers over who really got the first comment. In case you didn't know, Mr. Ripper, or as we affectionately know him around these parts, Rip Daddy, has never actually played a D&D campaign before, despite having been a D&D fan for many years. So I peer pressured everyone into playing some fucking D&D to celebrate 50k subs. Stay tuned for the news, and I hope you are as surprised as I was when you see how jarringly and infuriatingly photogenic Rip Daddy is. Swoon. As always, thanks again for watching. May the dice ever be in your favor. Do something nice for someone, and we'll see you next time.